Thursday, Friday Eve. Let's say good morning to Alex. How are things moving along so far, Alex?
Hey, Chris, good morning. Well, we do have two closures to talk about. The first one in New Jersey on the eastern spur of the Turnpike. Southbound lanes closed at exit 15E. This is because of a vehicle fire. And then we move to Sunrise Highway. This is going to be closed on the eastbound side at exit 39 for Hubbard's Path. Down to exit 40. Now, this is because of police activity. Alternate side parking rules in effect today. John and Vanessa, back to you.
Well, hopefully there are no problems on the roads this morning.
Not a whole lot, Chris, so that's the good news. Loving that forecast. Alexander Hamilton Bridge, a live look here. Cross Bronx Expressway east and westbound traffic moving along just fine down below. No complaints on the Deegan. That is free and clear. Nice quiet ride there. On the southbound ride, the 9 subway lines on your screen are operating with delays and service changes. This is overnight track work scheduled to wrap up around 5 o'clock or so this morning. Elsewhere, our trains are currently on or close to schedule. Right down the line, alternate side parking rules are in effect today. John and Vanessa, back to you.
All right, thank you.
Ready for bed. And I kind of dozed. All right, I got to go to bed. This is way too late. It was 8:15, I think. So that's how that night went. Live look outside at the Lincoln Tunnel. We are in good shape. All of our Hudson River crossings, construction out of the way at the Holland Tunnel. So the Holland, the Lincoln, and the George Washington Bridge going to be nice and quiet for you right now. Same story further north with the Mario Cuomo Bridge in both directions. John and Vanessa, back to you. Both directions. John and Vanessa, back to you. Well, we do have two closures to talk about. The first one in New Jersey on the eastern spur of the Turnpike. Southbound lanes closed at exit 15E. This is because of a vehicle fire. And then we move to Sunrise Highway. This is going to be closed on the eastbound side at exit 39 for Hubbard's Path. Down to exit 40. Now, this is because of police activity. Alternate side parking rules in effect today. John and Vanessa, back to you.
Find out the latest. Here's that.
Thanks so much. Can't wait for that 60 on Thursday. Crash on the LIE. It's westbound at the Clearview Expressway, so exit 27. Here's a live look at the LIE between exits 30 and 29 to the Cross Island and Springfield area shot where everybody's building up into that. Now, they have cleared a crash off of the Grand Central Parkway. It was westbound nearby, right around the Kew Gardens interchange. So there's your good news right now. And a live look at Route 3 through East Rutherford by MetLife Stadium. No problems east or westbound if you're headed towards the Lincoln Tunnel, 495, or westbound towards Route 46. Going to send it back to you now. John and Vanessa.
Alex, thank you so much. Alex, thank you so much.
Alex, any early troubles out there for the commuters?
Chris, not that we're seeing. We're scanning some of our cameras right now through Queens. LIE looks good east and westbound above the Grand Central Parkway, which is also moving right along at the speed limit. Then taking a look at the Southern State Parkway. This is going to be a live look right by the Meadowbrook exit 22 east and westbound. Barely any cars on the road, so no problems there. All good news from the traffic center at this time. Alternate side parking rules are going to be in effect today. John and Vanessa, back to you.
Alex.
Barely any cars in the barely any cars
Update on the commute. Hopefully it's still relatively quiet out there.
Yeah, Chris, here's a live look at the FDR Drive. Through the 70s and 80s, traffic moving well north and southbound, no complaints. And I can tell you top to bottom, whether you're on the FDR Drive or the West Side Highway, it's going to be a relatively quiet ride for you at this hour. Subways, we do have overnight track work on these 10 lines scheduled to wrap up within the next 20 minutes or so. That's going to be done around 5 o'clock this morning. Elsewhere, if you're taking the train, LIRR, Metro North, NJ Transit and PATH train service on or close to schedule. Alternate side parking rules are in effect today. John and Vanessa, back to you. Robinson Parkway out of the Kew Gardens interchange as well. John and Vanessa, back to you.
Alex.
Interchange as well. John and Vanessa, back to you.
Alex. Hopefully still a quiet start for most.
Yeah, Chris, nothing really crazy going on to talk to you about. We're just going to talk about mass transit right now. We do have overnight track work on these 8 lines of the subway right now. All that, of course, is always scheduled to wrap up around 5 o'clock this morning. Elsewhere, our trains currently on or close to schedule. Metro North, LIRR, NJ Transit, PATH train service, all in the clear. And it's going to be the same this morning if you're taking the ferry. All of those currently on or close to schedule as well. Alternate side parking rules, those are in effect today. John and Vanessa, back to you.
Me so well, Chris. Thanks so much. All right, we have a couple of things going on right now near the George Washington Bridge to tell you about. The first one is if you are getting off the bridge in New York, so inbound Henry Hudson Parkway, southbound right here by the bridge exit by 178th Street, we're hearing about a serious collision involving a police investigation. So that is underway right now. Expect closures to go along with that. Now, also in the area under the apartments, hearing there might be something going on at Amsterdam Avenue. So we're in the process of trying to figure out what is going on there. But again, just to pinpoint for these for you on the map. It's right around the outbound George Washington Bridge, or I'm sorry, the inbound George Washington Bridge by the Cross Bronx, where you're going to see some action right now. Mario Cuomo Bridge looking good to both Rockland and Westchester counties. No problem in either direction this morning, early to start your morning. Alternate side parking rules in effect today. John and Vanessa, back to you. Was an earlier crash with one vehicle involved. This vehicle allegedly went over onto the Amtrak tracks, which are right off of the Henry Hudson Parkway here, kind of down below on the Hudson River. So that caused an electrical fire. The crew's now out there with the police doing an investigation into all of that. Something to keep in mind if you're headed out that way. Alternate side parking rules in effect today. John and Vanessa, back to you. Here in the PIX11 Traffic Center, we're going to talk about long-term construction at the Throgs Neck Bridge. It's a roadwork project on the Bronx-bound span. But despite this, traffic is moving well. Lots of green there. And nearby with the Whitestone Bridge in either direction. Live look outside in Queens at the LIE. This is right around the Woodhaven Boulevard area, just west of the Grand Central Parkway. Westbound traffic traveling towards the Queens Midtown Tunnel. And then eastbound traffic traveling towards Nassau County. All in great shape. John and Vanessa, back to you.
All right.